Alright, boys and girls of the internet, this is going to be a short video, but it's too long to make a short on YouTube, so it's got to be a video. This might be one of the not so good things that you can end up with in the auction. Now, Toyota Camry typically is a good, reliable car. You know, I'm a big Toyota advocate, and well, right off the rip, you can see this girl features the 3-liter V6. The V6 is a great motor by Toyota. However, normally as far as Camrys go, I try to push the 4-bangers. Unless you're buying like one of the older Camry wagons. Then of course the 3.0 is a great power plant. You know, you're gonna get plenty of miles out of it, and it's gonna be able to haul more. But for a regular commuter car, the 4-cylinder Camry is definitely the car to have. This one has had a rough life. So it's an 03. It has 180,000 miles on it. Someone has put these wheels on here. It came back from the paint shop. It's got a cheap paint job on it because it was in rough shape. You get to the inside, we've got a broken vent. The seat is pretty well wore out for a 180,000 mile car. The floor mat's got a hole in it. There's significant pedal wear. Toyotas are pretty good about the pedals staying intact because of the material they use, but that one's wore. There is some kind of residue all over the cluster and the radio. I'm not sure what that is. I'm sure some of it will come off. More cracking around the bezel for the radio. We've got, looks like some kid just took a lighter and started melting the dash. So that's not really something that's easily repairable. You would need to swap the top portion of the dash. And on these Camrys, you can separate it across this bottom line on the top. But once again, now you're talking some significant tear down to get that out. And is it really worth it? Moving on, this armrest does not stay closed. There's a hole in it and it's sun-baked. Probably from having this sunroof in here. It just gave it extra light, extra heat, and dried it out. Overhead console. It's coming out of the roof. We got some stainage going on. Hopefully, when it goes through detail, most of that will be able to be pulled out. Headliners coming down at the corners in the back. And then, once again, it's only got a buck 86. You can't even see it, but it's got 188 to 494 on it. Tires are pretty well shot. When I drove it, it had some front end noise. Then it ended up only going about a mile down the road before it started to overheat. So I pulled the radiator out of it. Turns out it wasn't holding any coolant. It's also not holding any oil. I'm sure it will if it had some in it, but it's significantly low. We've got valve cover gasket leaks and potentially a cam seal leak. The same thing on the back. Someone's violently overheated this engine to the point where it started melting the engine cover. You can actually see it's all just down here, and it's hard as a rock. Melted around the bolts for the intake, the lower intake, and the injectors. I mean, that's a new one. So normally that means if it's been overheated that bad, you've got a failure in a gasket somewhere around the head. And then when it came to this side, we got to look, and you can see this flaky, almost looks like, this is like a booger or peanut butter. And a lot of times this is what happens when you mix antifreeze and then you introduce something like Blue Devil or liquid glass to the cooling system. So this is not a good sign at all. The radiator is actually completely split right here. It's overpressurized and broke the seam. You can see how it's nice and tucked through here. And then as we work our way here, it starts to open up. And then you've got all this splatter residue. Dirt daubers building their nest across the front. If you've never seen a dirt dauber nest, they look like a little wasp, and they eat other insects. And what they do is they bring them in here, build a little home out of mud, and then they bore little holes in it, and they put their food in there. So if we break one of them open, there's probably going to be some dead critters in there. On the back side, you can see some more of that peanut butter-like residue from mixing coolant, along with a Blue Devil or a liquid glass style sealer. It was seeping across this seam as well, I noticed while it was running when I put coolant in it, because it had none. So that Camry, we're gonna hope is gonna survive. I don't know quite how optimistic I am at this point. It might have to get torn down for a set of heads. But let's see if we can find you a little present in here. Hopefully there's still one or two left in it. Okay. Nothing. There's one. All right. So you see right there, that's the shell or the skin. Of something that was in there, or maybe the larva. I'm not really entirely sure. I'm not a bug expert. You're asking the wrong person. If you need to know about bugs, you need to go ask Lagoshi, because it's not my thing. But anyway. That looked like it was a spider at one point. And now it's fossilized, so. But yeah, oh, there's some more. Got some more. Well, there's 3 of them. You can see those little holes are just packed full. There's another spider. It won't really focus, but there's a spider up in that one. These things are pretty tough. There we go. It's another little shell. So anyway. That's the inside of a dirt dauber's nest. I'm not even gonna, well. Oh yeah, look at those. Oh yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, how cool is that? Anyway, dirt dauber's nest, busted radiator, 03 Camry. So it's gonna need some tires. It's gonna need an alignment. It's pulling violently to the right. I've used violently twice in my vocabulary for this video, so let's find another word. Climate control is broken. All that stuff's just gonna have to come from a pull apart. So yeah, XLE Camry with a V6 in it. Let's see if we can make a car out of it or not, but don't know. And it's probably gonna have to come from another V6 Camry to get that digital climate board with the wood, the faux wood trim around it too, I bet. So anyway, I don't have time to sit down and do a whole run through this car. I'm on a time crunch for this week where we got a lot of stuff going on. So figured I'd do a video now. Just show you guys what's going on. I've got a couple other videos in the works, so I'm sorry for the delay. Just stay tuned. But yeah, there you go. 03 Camry. We'll see if it comes out and becomes a decent car, or if it's something we just got to dump. Anyway, there we go. Thanks for watching, folks. Drop a comment down below and what you think, and I'll do a part 2 on this one. The car's all put back together.